We Brits are pretty good at the old horror thing. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we'll be counting down the top 10 British horror films.
Am I asleep now, awake, or what?
I realize I don't look so hot, David, but I thought you'd be glad to see me.
Before we begin, if you enjoy this video, be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we are looking at the most iconic, influential and nightmare-inducing horror films that were either based in Britain, feature a predominantly British cast, or were spearheaded by a British studio. Oh, and we're excluding any spoof films like Shaun of the Dead as well. So grab a nearby pillow to hide behind and someone's hand to squeeze. This is going to get scary.
Jesus wept.
Number 10, Eden Lake. Lakeside breaks can be a tranquil experience, except when they're not, of course, and you get terrorized by a group of evil kids. Looking for a little quiet time alone, travelling couple Steve and Jenny get neither as they end up on the wrong side of a group of violent youths.
Why don't we just find another spot?
I'm not going to be bullied away by a bunch of 12-year-olds.
Going from juvenile bickering to graphic torture in no time, Eden Lake is a perfect example of superior writing over blockbuster budget, with a twisting and turning plot that unpredictably boils from start to finish.
How does it look?
It looks worse than it is.
Let me see.
Number 9, Village of the Damned. More insidious youngsters next, although these are a bit more reserved, on the surface anyway. When all the women in a village mysteriously fall pregnant and give birth to rapidly growing blonde-haired children, something's clearly not right. With haunting, glowing eyes and telekinetic powers, the emotionless kids begin to play puppet master to the local residents, forcing them to do things against their will.
You have to be taught to leave us alone.
A great example of Big Trouble in a Little Town, and merging classic horror characteristics with sci-fi, The Village of the Damned is a framework often emulated but never quite matched.
You're thinking of a brick wall.
Number 8, Peeping Tom. If you're after textbook tension, then Peeping Tom is as good as it gets.
Take it away. Take it away.
Following the disturbed journey of Mark Lewis, a wannabe documentary filmmaker with an affinity for stalking and murdering women, there's enough long silences, distant stares and first-person action to put any seasoned horror fan on the edge of their seat.
Don't be frightened.
I'm frightened. Hot. So put that camera away.
It proves that tension alone can accomplish great things. And after watching it, you'll be checking every unlit corner, open window and parked car when walking down the street. Number 7, The Haunting. For all those jump scare naysayers out there, The Haunting is a go-to example of how psychological terror can reign supreme.
The dead are not quiet in Hill House.
Based around a group of psychics who visit the dreaded and supposedly haunted Hill House, it's a film that induces an unnerving type of tension that creeps up on you without you realising it.
Oh, my hand, Theo. Oh, for God's sake, don't scream.
A gloomy score, eerie laughter hidden in the walls, dramatic zooms, it's a horror how-to for atmospheric scares, and something that was remade in 1999, much to the displeasure of pretty much everyone.
Help!
Number 6, 28 Days Later. The zombie scene has been done to death, but 2002's 28 Days Later strips away its Hollywood robes and delivers something unpolished, uncompromising and undead.
Meet Mela.
Brilliantly directed by Danny Boyle, it plonks us in the hospital pumps of Jim, a coma patient who wakes up 28 days after a deadly virus ravages London. There's moments where nothing really happens, but it's that exact mundanity that makes this take on the zombie apocalypse realistic and horrifying.
Jim! Jim is infected! No! No! Jim! No! Jim, kill it!
Forget elaborately holding up in a shopping mall, we'd take the safety of a flat any day. Number 5, Dracula. Veteran villains like Frankenstein and the Wolfman have got extensive horror movie back catalogues, but it's 1958's Dracula starring Christopher Lee that gets our vote.
I am Dracula, and I welcome you to my house.
Although packed full of popular vampire tropes, this is a film that manages to dodge any cheesiness typical of the time. Instead, it instills memorable moments of terror thanks to the imposing performance of Lee as the caped bloodsucker. A film that fueled a series of Lee-led Dracula editions, it's not just an iconic British horror film, it is one of cinema's most significant films, full stop. Number 4, The Descent. This is one of those surely that character can't die kind of films, with a gang of friends slowly being picked off by monsters while exploring some caves. Sure, there have been many similar films over the years, but The Descent gets the balance just right. Not too many jump scares or too much action, and plenty of eerie silences to leave you hanging.
Where is it?
There's also strong performances from its all-female cast and an unnerving claustrophobia to its setting, thanks to its constantly changing labyrinth-like pathways. Number 3, Don't Look Now. Accidental drowning, resurrection, the afterlife, just some of the themes of this Nicholas Roeg-directed masterpiece, Don't Look Now. Starring Donald Sutherland as John Baxter, a grieving father who begins to believe that his recently deceased daughter may still be alive, it's an unrelenting thrill ride that entertains just as much as it saddens and petrifies. Together with its genius camera work and chilling soundtrack, it has cemented its place among the select group of uber-realistic horrors of British cinema. It is raw, emotional anguish at its best.
Please, fetch him back. Let him not go.
Number 2, The Innocents. Picture the aforementioned The Haunting mixed with The Village of the Damned and you get 1961's The Innocents.
Then we won't imagine things.
Sometimes one can't help imagining things.
Starring leading lady Deborah Kerr, a woman employed to teach 2 orphans at a creepy Victorian home, she soon finds herself paranoid that something supernatural is going on and that the kids have something to do with it.
Now you're my prisoner.
Oh, Miles, let me go.
Why?
You're hurting me.
Am I?
Yes, Miles.
Frantically changing direction, it's a perfect example of a gothic horror and how simple ingredients can result in genuine fear-inducing visuals. You'll be hearing laughter in the night after watching this. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions.
Help me! Please! Help me!
But if you hate us, we'll tear your soul apart.
Number 1, The Wicker Man. Horror, psychological thriller, mystery, The Wicker Man is a shape-shifting classic revered everywhere for its contentious themes of religion and its twisting plot that sees a police officer swallowed up by a strange, close-knit society. Starring heavyweights Christopher Lee and Edward Woodward, it's tough at times to understand exactly why it makes you feel uneasy, and that's part of its terrifying charm.
In he goes. And out he comes. There. Now that didn't hurt much, did it?
Disturbing midday rituals and freaky locals, it's a film that has aged for the better, and we think it's only going to get creepier as the years go on.
Oh God! Oh Jesus Christ!
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from Watch Mojo UK and subscribe for more great content.